Thank you, Erin. So we're going to focus on a workflow activity, and I'm going to walk you through it. This is something that if we had more time, we would actually do it live. But I feel like that's probably going to take us too much time. We wanted to give you all, lots of good things to think about today. So as we're working through this, know that we're going to give you these slides. You can copy and paste out the little template that I have embedded in here for you. And also bear in mind that you can use this with students going forward. So next slide, please. So when we think about our workflows, in here we've got faculty, we've got staff, we may have some administrators joining us. And so we think about what our different workflows are. So on the academic side of the teaching side of the house, we've got giving feedback, we've got creating lesson content, we've got writing discussion prompts, designing assessments, answering emails. Staff, we're dealing with writing reports or summaries, scheduling coordination, responding in inquiries, drafting communications, data tracking, and updates. But in our world in higher ed, there's a lot of crossover, right? So faculty will do those things that are listed under the staff listing. And, you know, maybe some staff are writing discussion prompts in their different areas. Advising is one that I think of. Or answering student emails. Everybody's doing that, right? And so as you're thinking about designing one of your workflows, you want to really zero in on one of those areas. And one of the things that we talk about with faculty and staff is identify your pain point. Look at some different pain points that you have. And I frame it this way, if I wish I could reclaim some of my time, it would be in this area. And so that may help you identify a workflow that you can redesign. Once you identify your workflow, you want to redesign that into 3 to 5 steps. And let's take a look at what that can look like. Next slide, please. So what I've done here is I've got a little table, and this is the little template table that you can copy and paste and use. And so here what we're going to do, we're going to take a task. We're going to break it down into 3 or 4 steps. And so you see draft, review, revise. It's 3 steps. We're going to add in what the AI is going to do and what I, as a human, is going to do. And you want to identify the skill that matters most. So looking at those skills that Erin was talking about. So for example, if I'm drafting something for my course, now you can do this. This is not carved in stone that the AI does it first or you do it first. It just depends on the way that your workflow is most comfortable for you. So sometimes if I'm ideating about something that out of the gate, I don't have a lot of opinions about, then I may get the AI to guide me. Or if it's something that I feel like I need extra creativity in, because these large language models are designed the way they are very creative thinkers. That's what feeds hallucinations. And so if it's something that I feel like I've got a creative deficit in, then I may use the AI to generate a first pass. And that'll get me thinking maybe about things I wasn't thinking of. So once I have the AI generate some content for me, then I'm going to decide if I'm going to accept, reject, what I'm going to do with that different content that I'm getting. Is it valid? Is it all those things? And so I'm communicating. I'm using communication skill there. How good is my prompting? Right? How good is my questioning? So it's that communication skill that I'm the muscle that I'm working with there. So it's communicating with the AI tool just like I would communicate with a colleague. My next step, revise. So AI role. Or review, I'm sorry. AI role is going to make the suggestions. I'm evaluating, I'm judging it. Revise, that 3rd step. AI can help me refine, right? We're iterating back and forth. We're getting, my questions are getting more clear. Maybe my thought process is getting more clear. So I continue to revise. It's just like if you and I were having a conversation and I ask a question, it's ambiguous, and you give me an ambiguous answer. And then I come back and I say, no, wait a minute, and so we start to have this back and forth where we're getting more to where we're getting to the clearer outputs that we're looking for. And then I decide, and that retains my agency. And that agency piece is really super important for us. Human in the loop, human driving the bus. that we remain in control of what we are dealing with when we're dealing with AI tools. AI does not replace the task, it changes who does what within it. And we are seeing in our research that industry is starting to have conversations around moving away. Now, this is very early, but moving away from job titles to skill sets. So if you look that up when you're looking at online, and you'll see some of these conversations around what we're giving you today, it's a really interesting conversation. Next slide, please. So here is another example. This one's aimed at faculty. And so again, I'm looking at the different steps that I'm going through. I'm looking at the roles that I expect the AI to play, the roles that I expect to retain for myself, and the skill I'm working on. So drafting feedback, generate comments from a rubric. Now, this is not like the feedback from grading a moment ago. That was judgment, right? So we're generating comments from a rubric. And so we're working with, I'm going to set the criteria and tone. I can feed it into AI, of course, no PII, but I'm saying, give me your version of feedback for this information in here. And I'm going to compare it to what I'm doing. Then I may adapt it. Oh, there's something there I didn't think of, and that's really good. I set criteria and tone, and that's communication. Review. AI can suggest improvements. I'm going to evaluate the accuracy. That's my judgment piece. So accept, reject, validate, all in there. Next step, revise. AI can help me refine language. I can decide what to keep, what to reject. Agency. I'm making those final decisions. And then finalizing. AI's role to help me format it. My role is to keep the personalization, and that's relationship building. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. So let's think about this in terms of you. So here's a little template that you can take and use, copy paste. Again, this is a great activity for your students. So they can use this. A moment ago, I mentioned in the chat that take one task and have students track their process versus just a product. So this is the type of little templates that we work with faculty to design. They're super simple, not complex, because we want the student to be able to actually engage very quickly. So the questions you're going to ask yourself, where can AI help me in this workflow? Students are going to ask, where can AI help me? And then you're going to also decide, where do I need to retain the decision making in this process? And then what skill matters most now in this step that I am doing? And then you'll be able to see a pattern emerge. Next slide, please. Student transfer template. So it's just the template that you saw before. You can, again, embed this in one of the activities that you are doing. The difference is here. We have always been teaching these skills, right? It's now we are really putting them in the front, center, North Star, and being very intentional about talking about them and talking about them with students, because these are skills these students need to have mastered, and they need to realize when they're doing these kinds of things so they can work to increase that muscle that they're developing. So this is one that we do training on process versus product. So this is kind of a little recipe that we follow. So student creates original thinking, pre-AI. So they come up with this is writing or whatever activity you're doing, this will work. So student creates original thinking. Then what they're going to do is engage with the AI. Then they stop, they reflect, they evaluate the outputs, they judge the outputs. They validate the outputs if they need to. And validation, I mean, maybe they go to class source materials and to validate the outputs. They compare, and then they're making decisions. So step 3, they're evaluating the outputs. Step 4, they revise and justify the decisions that they're doing. So this is a little workflow. There's one here for you. There's one here for your students. And just put it out there and keep it low stakes for them so that they can get used to the process. And then you'll identify more ways to incorporate this into what you're doing in their activities. The really neat thing that it's exposing for students is they're seeing how they're thinking what they're thinking, how it's evolving, how it's changing. The decisions that they're making, it's making it very visible to them and to you. So it's a really great little process that you can follow and share with your students. Next slide, please. Okay, here's a little cheat sheet for you. I come from the tech world and we live and die by little cheat sheets. So a skills mapping. So just some terminology to guide you. Judgment, evaluating outputs, accuracy, relevance. You're going to see these terms also embedded within our frameworks. So once you get over there, you can then start quickly map these to what you're looking at on those frameworks. Agency, making final decisions, owning your outcomes. AI communication, prompting, refining inputs, critical thinking, comparing sources, identifying gaps, design thinking, which is also process design, structuring tasks and workflows, ethical reasoning, appropriate and responsible use. Those are all different core skills that we really need to be focused on. And we need to be intentionally discussing these with our students, because when they go out and they apply for jobs, they need to be able to speak to this, because this is one of the things we're hearing from industry. You know, they go back to, okay, we'll teach them what we want them to know technically in lots of ways, but we need them to have these core skills. And we need you guys back in the college classrooms to really be making this intentional. So students are keeping it front and center and they're really working on this as they go. Do not pick all skills. Choose one and work on it. Do the same with your students. Don't try to jump into it with both feet. Just step into it easily and phase it in as you're working through. Next slide, please. So here is just a little look at what human does well, what the workflow model, and what AI does well. So AI does not replace the task. That's what we really need to focus on with our students. AI does not replace the task. It redistributes responsibility. It also allows us to then collaborate and move to other areas in learning. So AI, human AI workflow model. Human defines the goal. AI generates options. Now, again, you've got flexibility. Maybe you want to generate them first and then do AI and do a comparison. Human evaluates. Human directs updates. AI refines output. Human finalizes, final judgment. What are the things that AI handles well? Speed, summary, volume. And what are the things that humans handle well? They do best: criteria, direction, and judgment. And I think looking at that one little column right there, you can really see the differences in what we retain and what we do well as humans that AI just simply cannot do. And that is a great conversation also to have with your students, and let that just allow you to just step into this space. When we do these things with students, what we're doing is we're adding to our relevancy in our course. And we had a just quickly an instructor share with us a couple years ago, and she said in her fall class, come November, her attendance really drops off. But she incorporated AI and she had 100% attendance in that course all the way through. And we were just so elated with that, because she was intentionally putting in these opportunities and talking to students about, okay, you want to be relevant, you need to be learning this information. And she was constantly checking herself on, are they buying into what I'm teaching them? That was really where she kept checking herself. So working through this type of workflow can help you get there, and how to embed AI in your course. Again, phase, baby steps. You don't need to do everything all at once. Use one activity, refine it, sharpen it, and implement it again. Next slide. And I believe, Sarah, I'm going to toss it over to you. Okay, great. Critical question. Share and chat. What part of your work process requires human accountability and should never be automated? That is a great question for students as well. What part of your learning process requires human accountability and should never be automated? Anybody have any ideas? You could even break it down to what skills in your work process should never be, that requires human accountability and should never be automated. Also think about what you do in your job. There are certain things that we do. Like, for example, if I think about faculty, it would be like just having AI provide automatic feedback to students, right? I would never do that. I would want to make sure that the faculty member, me, always retains control in that process. So that would be something that I would say. I would never let AI just completely take over. Or grading. Okay, great. Next slide. Thank you all for being so active in the chat. It is so awesome. Thank you. Sarah, I'm going to toss it back to you.